Is this better than the Escalade? We'll find out in today's review. I'll include a link to the Lincoln & Draper's website in the description down below. Ask for Johnny if you have any questions. Let's get right into it. This week's giveaway highlight is a classic Corvette with a big block V8. If you're interested, use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. This will give you 4x bonus entries on any donation $25 or more. Under the hood is a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 15 around town, 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 440 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now this gray is really cool. It's got a little bit of metallic flakes. You got a little bit of sparkle. And then the headlights, they're kind of normal with the design. You do have this light that goes into the grille as like a giant light bar. And then you have the big old Lincoln logo too. So altogether, this definitely has presence, but it's not over-styled like what you see with the Escalade. Tire and wheel setup is 275 by 50 by 22. The wheels are completely blacked out. And you notice a lot of elements are blacked out, like that Navigator badge, mirror caps, even the power side steps. And this particular Navigator is the L version, so it's like the Expedition Max or, you know, a Suburban size. When it comes to key fob features, we have our lock and unlock function, remote start, the opening for the rear hatch, and then the Lincoln logo on the back. Got some USB ports in the back, 12 volt, 400 watt inverter as well. And on the other side, you've got for the seats, so you know with the second row you can lower it down, the third row you can raise and lower it. This Max version gives you a ton of space behind the third row. That's why you go for the Max version, is if you want lots and lots of cargo space. And then you do have a tailgate just like the new Expedition, so that's another nice feature. And you can fold it up independently of the hatch, or if you just press this, it will close both at the same time. This is pretty neat with the light bar there in the back. That will cap things off for the exterior. Let's now take a look at the interior. Nice soft touch trim with stitching on the door panel. And then again, we've got those power side steps. Seats have more of that stitching. They're perforated all down the center with a bunch of adjustments. Legroom in the second row, of course, is good. We've got storage pockets, some USB ports right there. You can actually open up the sunshade for the sunroof. And yeah, you have this little screen here to control stuff like the seats. You got heated seats. For example, you can climate, another outlet. And this one has the captain chair configuration in the back. The third row seats are also perforated, and you can easily fit adults back there. It's a full-size SUV. You do have vents for the back passengers too. Let's now take a look at the front. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then down below we've got soft touch and stitching, and then I like this with all the little window controls. Kind of a nice finish. 1360 for the payload capacity on this one. And the seats are perforated down the center up front. Tons of adjustments on the side, including lumbar support. Now inside we've got the new steering wheel design, which is, yeah, kind of rectangular. This is kind of like a multi-function control to basically control different items. So you interface with the top screen for that stuff, cruise control on the other side. And that top screen is a big deal with this vehicle. It is not only the gauge cluster there, and you can see the steering wheel controls, but it also doubles as like an auxiliary screen, so you can put maps up there if you want. And the screen keeps going on because you have a little radio section. You can also customize what's in some of these tabs. We're still going, by the way. And then you have all the way to the passenger side, and you can change each of these tabs. But yeah, this thing goes across the entire dash. Now the actual control for it is down below, so press this and that'll let you change the different tabs on the screen. But yeah, this is another screen that you use to interface with a lot of items, like your hill descent control, your drive modes are all built into the screen itself. It is quick to respond. Your climate controls are built in the screen. The heated, ventilated seat controls are also built into it. And other than the transmission select here, and then a couple of shortcut buttons for like the drive mode shortcut, auto stop start, volume control, and then, sorry, back up, gear selector right there, and then obviously Pro Trailer. Yeah, not a lot of physical. This does have a phone charging pad in there, some cup holders, got the center console, it's got quite a bit of space, USBs, there's a 12 volt inside too. And you know, the trim on this is pretty nice. Same thing with the dash trim this has. Sunglass holder, and then you do have a panoramic sunroof. $109,830. Let us see how this performs. Navigator. You know, I will say these materials in this don't feel as, some of them don't feel as soft as you'd think for luxury, but This isn't like the top of the line Navigator, but it's still expensive, of course, over 100 grand. I just find it interesting that a lot of these luxury manufacturers are changing the materials they're using because some of the super soft touch stuff doesn't hold up very well over time. And so it's like, okay, well, we got to do something different that might not be as soft, but it'll last longer with the interior. But then it's like, why do you buy the uber luxury car if this trim doesn't feel any softer than a non-luxury? And of course, it always comes down to status. Status is why you buy luxury over non-luxury. It's why you get the Navigator instead of getting the Expedition, because you can get an Expedition with all the same stuff for sub 100. Same engine too. This is quiet. So not only does it have acoustic glass up front, it's also for the rear. So it's a very insulated interior. Very quiet. Turn signal camera. That's kind of a cool feature. But at the same time, it's kind of a gimmick. Kind of a gimmick. Yeah, I will say this is very, very quiet. Smooth acceleration. Yeah, great torque from the V6. I expected that. Certainly expected that. It's pretty quiet too. You don't hear the excuse me, you don't hear the V6 too much. And it's got, so this is body and frame, but it has independent suspension all around. And I will say the independent suspension is quite nice. It's a bit floaty. It's kind of a floaty car, but that's what you want with luxury. You want floatiness. Turning's nice too. Yeah, it's got pretty good power. It's got pretty good power. So, conclusions. I think this is really nice, but like I said, you can get the same thing, and really it comes down to, like, how important is status to you? How important is status to you? Now, compared to the Escalade, I think the Ford feels a little bit better built. GM's, just every single one of them, they feel cheap and chintzy. Ford's not too much better, but seems like with these, the full size, so the Expedition, and then with this Navigator, they seem to be a little bit better built than some of the other Fords. The turbo V6, I mean, that's the biggest, I think it's the biggest benefit of the Navigator of the Escalade, is the V6, not just the power, but also the reliability. GM's V8s aren't reliable, so this actually gives you some level of reliability, something that you can trust. So that is the not the Expedition. It is an Expedition, but also not. That's the Navigator L. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know if you like this as much as the Escalade, and if it's worth, you know, paying for the badge. Actually, yeah. That's all.